Awakening to the soft, golden rays of the early dawn, I was serenaded by the melodious songs of mountain birds, a chorus welcoming a brand new day. The chipmunks, nimble and playful, scurried about the campsite, diligently sweeping up the remnants of last night's dinner. Their enthusiasm was so infectious that I couldn't help but smile as I lay there, cocooned in my sleeping bag. Nature had an uncanny way of rejuvenating the soul. As I ventured out of my tent, a scene of unparalleled beauty unfolded before my eyes. An alpine lake, cradled by the majestic embrace of snow-capped mountains, glistened like a sapphire gem. The air, at an elevation of 6,000 feet, was pure and invigorating, carrying with it the promise of a day filled with adventure. But amidst this picturesque panorama, a weighty truth pressed upon me. Today, the day I had long dreaded, had arrived. It was a day of reckoning, a day that demanded I face my fears head-on, to begin anew with unwavering determination. My trusty portable stove soon sizzled to life, filling the crisp mountain air with the tantalizing aroma of sizzling eggs and savory sausages. I savored each bite, accompanied by a steaming cup of black coffee that warmed my hands and heart. In that moment I couldn't help but marvel at the sheer beauty of life itself. It dawned on me that life, with all its twists and turns, was a journey of discovery. I reminisced about my long-lost passions, sailing, fishing, hiking, and camping sacrificed during my 23 years of marriage. My younger self had been certain that the woman I wedded would be my lifelong companion, an optimist's dream. And now, with the courage to confront change, I held on to the belief that another chapter of happiness would unfold, ripe with new adventures and kindred spirits. Life, much like the mountains that surrounded me, had peaks and valleys, challenges and rewards. Today marked my ascent, a new beginning carved out of the wilderness. And with every step, I carried with me the inspiration to embrace life's beauty, just as I did in the tranquil solitude of this alpine haven. Descending from the tranquil heights of the mountain, my trek had been an uninterrupted journey, a solitary communion with nature. The trail remained deserted until I finally reached the familiar point where I had parked my vehicle. As I loaded my belongings into the car, I couldn't help but anticipate the return of connectivity in the digital world. The past 3 days had been a detachment from the digital cacophony of texts and emails that awaited me once my phone regained signal strength. I heard the first notification beep as I merged onto the winding 2-lane county road, and instinctively I glanced down at my phone's screen. It was a message from my 21-year-old son, Ryan. Ryan and I shared a bond that transcended the traditional father-son relationship. Through the tumultuous teenage years, we had evolved into best friends and confidants, navigating life's challenges together. Our shared experiences had forged a deep respect and an unbreakable love between us. His message was simple yet profound: Dad, I love you and support you. Good luck today and stay positive. Somewhere, someday there will be a light at the end of this tunnel. Those words of encouragement pierced through my heart, fueling my determination to face the trials ahead. The next message I opened was from my daughter, Krista. She, too, expressed her unwavering love and support. Krista had always been a daddy's girl, a mirror image of her beautiful mother, Linda, in her younger years, yet inheriting my adventurous spirit, love for the outdoors, and quirky sense of humor qualities that set her apart from her mother. Her words were a balm to my soul. Dad, how I wish I could be with you, hug you, and tell you that everything will be fine. You are the best father we can imagine and always put us first. Now you have to put yourself first, no matter what happens, Gert. You ought to know that Ryan and I will always be here for you. No matter what happens, you need to know that Ryan and I will always be here for you. In that moment, I was struck by the profound fortune of having children who not only cherished and respected me, but would undoubtedly become the most enduring legacy of my life. They were the embodiment of love, unwavering support, and a reminder that no matter what trials lay ahead, I was blessed with a family that would forever light my path. Once more, I paused to take a break and attentively go through all of my texts, emails, voicemails, and missed calls without interruption. Within the past 3 days, my wife has failed to return 10 of the calls that she has made. Approximately 7 of them were most likely from her 3-day banking seminar and her purported business trip to Las Vegas. The remaining 3 appeared to have been after she arrived home last night and then again this morning. It is easy for me to picture how aggravated she was when I failed to pick her up at the airport and when I did not respond to her phone calls or text messages. Without wasting any time, I went to my mailbox and removed all of the voicemails that had been left for me. Again, I did not respond to Linda's emails, which she sent to me approximately 20 times over the course of the past 3 days. The first few of them were her declaration of her unending love for me, and I just read through the rest by accident. What a moron. The last few were toxic, full of resentment since I didn't answer her calls and kept her waiting at the airport for more than an hour before she finally realized I wasn't coming. I thought this, perhaps out of guilt, and the last few were toxic. The last message that she sent was a simple WTF Jack written in all capital letters. The way in which our relationship had evolved over the course of the past several months, despite the fact that I don't believe she even comprehended the fact that the flame of love that had always been present in me for her started to gradually evaporate. Over the course of the past difficult 4 months, has she really moved away from me to such a significant degree? Was it really the case that she had completely lost all conscious thinking about me, about my emotions, and about the anguish that I was experiencing in my eyes, which I was amazed she did not notice? Is it possible that she quickly forgot about her children, about our family, and about the love that we had shared for such a long time? It was possibly even more sad than the novel she had written. At 44 years old, Linda was stunning. She had beautiful curves, slim legs, and firm breasts, and she knew how to work her body for any occasion, whether she was flirting at a social event or playing the role of a rising star banking expert in the Trust Department of the United States Bank of Commerce. She was able to manipulate her body for each occasion well, the way that men looked at her, barely able to suppress their passion and avert their eyes. Knowing that she was mine and that we were forever twined each other, gave me a big boost of self-respect and selfishness. I was always proud to be seen with her, and I enjoyed the way that men looked at her. She often protested that she was getting older and that she no longer felt as young, lively, and seductive as she used to. I told her how beautiful and desirable she was as we passed lustful bystanders, but she continuously reminded me that she was getting older. I could tell that it was bothering her, and I attempted to comfort her that her light was getting brighter rather than dimmer. However, she simply dismissed my compliments and said, "You just have to say it because you are my husband and you love me anyway." I could feel that it was bothering her. At the very least, in terms of sexuality, her underboss, John Monroe, emerged as a fresh source of illumination in her life. It is evident that I was regarded as a best friend who was somewhat uninteresting but dependable, despite the fact that I am the one who ended up losing our friendship. However, Linda did not realize this at any point. I found John Monroe, the affluent vice president of the Trust Department, to be irritating on multiple occasions. He was tall, skinny, and so self-assured that I felt him to be a nuisance. On the other hand, Linda believed that he exemplified the very definition of a great leader. At least that is what she stated when we talked about her professional life and him. However, that too came to an abrupt halt about 4 months ago. Upon reflection, I have come to the conclusion that this event marked the beginning of her affair as well as the beginning of the end of their 23-year relationship. I pushed my melancholy thoughts out of my mind, looked at my phone once more, and then erased all of her texts with a growl of anger. Afterwards, I proceeded to read more emails. I was notified by my attorney that everything is set to go in accordance with the agreements that we have made. I also noticed that I had something in the private chat and opened it to read. The man you were interested in got into serious trouble during a robbery, one crushed testicle and a shattered knee. When I closed the chat, everything was automatically erased. The next email I reviewed was confirmation that my resignation from my job had been accepted and my $401,000 in stock options had been liquidated, with the proceeds transferred to my new checking account. I'll be fine for at least a few years, although the tax sting will be painful. But I really didn't care. I needed to leave. I was about to pull out onto the road when the phone rang, and I saw that it was Linda. I decided that there would be no better time to talk than now, and I even compared it to ripping off a Band-Aid. This needs to be done as quickly and convincingly as possible. I pulled over, turned off the engine, and answered the phone as dispassionately as I could. "Hey, Linda, what happened? What is the problem here? I thought you wouldn't care whether I answered or not. Did you see me or not? I thought you'd be glad I'm not home. This way you can get yourself cleaned up and back in character before you see me, the kids, our friends, and your parents. Isn't that how your double life works?" "What? Why do you say that, Jack? I don't understand." "What double life? You know that I have to travel for work. And by the way, why don't the children answer my calls and messages? Where is our king-size mattress from the master bedroom? Last night I had to sleep in the guest bedroom. Jack, what the hell is going on? Where the hell are you? And why did you leave me at the airport? I feel like I'm in the twilight zone and nothing makes sense." "Linda, you are in that twilight zone into which you have driven yourself and our entire family." Linda's fury and violent verbal onslaught subsided as her confidence must have begun to decline and her greatest fears began to surface. "Linda, you are in that twilight zone. What is it? If you ask me, Jack, what the hell does that mean? Where exactly are you, and what exactly is going on? I have been too busy to respond to your calls and texts during the past week, Linda, and I am currently out of town. It does not matter where I am or where I am going. I am not in town. I have been very busy trying to find out how to move on from the great betrayal that occurred in my current life and into my new life. Linda hesitated, and her voice quivered when she heard the word betrayal. However, she continued to act as if she was dumbfounded and said, "Jack, are you drunk? What exactly are you referring to then?" "First and foremost, Linda, please tell me about the 3-day banking conference that you attended. Was it simply 3 nights that cretin John had sex with you, or did he have sex with you every night and morning?" When I said that, I heard her gasp and go silent, and it took her a few seconds to react. "What the heck are you talking about?" I was surprised to hear her response. "Describe what JN is like, and explain why you think that." "This is my marriage to you." "Yes, Linda, you are married to me, and it blows my mind that you still consider this to be a marriage. After 23 years of marriage, would it be possible for you to at least show me the courtesy of telling me the truth once and for all? During the past few months, I am aware that you have not shown any regard or concern for either your family or me. However, now that the lies and deceit have been exposed, would you please consider being honest?" In a voice that was shaking and hushed, Linda responded, "Jack, I don't know what you're imagining. But you're wrong, because you're not right. I could only love you. Nothing stands in the way of my relationship with John Monroe. At the very least, you have stated that you are aware of the John that we are referring to as of right now." In that brief moment, it became clear to me that JN was not the sole presence, Linda. My heart ached with the weight of unspoken truths, and I could no longer avoid the questions that had plagued my mind. Did you ever believe that you could evade being discovered, or had you simply stopped caring about the consequences of your actions? If you wished to confess your love for someone else and seek a divorce, why did you choose this path of secrecy? Linda's voice erupted in anger, her words laced with frustration. "Don't even utter the word divorce. It would have been far easier for everyone if you'd had the courage to communicate before resorting to lies and deceit, Jack." The plea was followed by a cry that reverberated in the air. "Don't even mention the word divorce." I implored her to believe me, to understand that my love was unwavering, that she was the only one who held my heart. "We need you to come home so we can have an honest conversation. This can't continue. What gives you the right to assume otherwise?" Linda, however, seemed to think that I was bluffing, that I lacked concrete evidence. She chose to continue this dangerous game. "So you're denying having had an affair with Monroe on our own bed, our king-size mattress, right?" Confusion clouded my thoughts as I tried to comprehend her words. "I don't understand what you're saying, Linda. Please just hold on for a moment, okay?" In that moment of desperation, I retrieved a damning photograph from my pocket, an image of John Monroe and Linda entangled in passion on our marital bed. Her expression was one of ecstasy, and the intensity in Monroe's face left no room for doubt. It was one of several photos and videos I had collected through a hidden camera discreetly placed within the clock on our dresser. I sent the photo to Linda and switched back to our call, the gravity of the situation weighing heavily on my heart. "Please, Linda, dig out the picture that I just sent to you. Is it not the case that my devoted wife is having an affair with her boss in my bedroom, on my enormous mattress, without using a condom? Are you giving me that information?" Suddenly I heard her hang up the phone and cry in agony, "Oh God, no, Jack, I beg you. It was a blunder indeed. Simply put, it took place once. It had no significance whatsoever. The exhilaration of someone younger who desired me so badly and made me feel sexy and youthful again was something that I only experienced for a short time. It was simply a fling. I genuinely did not intend for it to be hurtful to you, and it was the only time it happened. Oh my God! I'm so sorry, but Jack, if Linda looks out the window in the middle of the backyard, she'll see this pile of charred wood, metal, and ash. This is our burned king-size mattress. This is a symbol of how you set fire to our marriage, how you betrayed our family, how you humiliated me. When did you hate me enough to cause me such pain? When did you decide that you no longer cared about my love or the love of our children? When did you decide that I was no longer worthy of respect and honesty? When and why did you decide to throw us out like morning trash? It was an accident, a terrible mistake, and it was only once. It was me who was selfish. You have absolutely nothing to do with it. Please, Jack, come home and talk to me. Linda, my children and I are already fed up with lies and deception. Is that the reason why the kids don't answer my calls? Jack, did you tell them and turn them against me? How dare you? I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I love you. I can never hate you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I want to spend my entire life with you. Linda, I haven't done a damn thing to keep the kids away from you. You did it all by yourself, that is you and your lousy friend. It's all you. Your selfish, self-centered attitude and your need for sex with someone else's man is what brought you into the twilight zone and what took our entire family and destroyed it and drove us all away from you. And no, it wasn't me who told the children, it was the children who told me. What a pity. I never would have thought that you could lie, deceive me, and abandon us so easily. It was just sex, just one time, and just a brief lapse in judgment after 23 years of marriage. I want you, not John. Please believe me, this has been going on for at least 4 months. Judging by the way you emotionally cut us all out of your life. And the saddest thing is that you didn't even realize it. You stopped talking to us, stopped looking at me, and stopped making love to me, with the exception of the occasional mercy sex. You disgust me, Jack. It doesn't mean anything. It was just sex time. And just a brief lapse in judgment after 23 years of marriage. He didn't tell me about it for 2 weeks until he and Krista decided that I had a right to know. So they called me and told me, and we all cried and were physically sick watching their mother, my wife, betray her with his boss. I pulled out the next photo from my phone, which was the one where Ryan came home unannounced to pick up some tools and heard his mother and Monroe doing it. He quietly crept to the open door of the master bedroom, took out his phone, and took several pictures and videos. I waited for him to tell me about it. This is what prompted me to buy a spy camera. I also sent this photo to Linda. Linda, open the phone again. This is the first time any of us have found out about you and your despicable boss. Although the way you cut all emotional ties with me 3 months before this picture, I'm sure you were lovers this whole time. Linda, Ryan discovered you first, and he took a photo of you in bed having sex. What the hell do you think your son feels about you after witnessing his mother's betrayal? Don't you realize that it turned him off, and that you lost his and Krista's respect? When they looked at those pictures and tried to decide whether or not to tell me about your adulterous sexual behavior, do you think they have even the slightest bit of trust or respect for you now? Do you know how painful it was for them to tell me that you were a liar, and how difficult it was to hear them cry as they watched you ruin our marriage and destroy our family? Can you imagine how the pain they felt? I want you to quit lying about how it only happened once, and how it hasn't been going on for months, and how you didn't have sex with him 6 or 7 times during this most recent business trip. I'm going to hang up on your next lie. I listened to Linda sobbing at the top of her lungs, and I envisioned her fainting on the floor as she finally came to the realization that her lies and betrayal had caused harm to both her family and herself. Please allow me to explain. Oh God, Jack, I'm so sorry. Please, you must forgive me. I went crazy, but it's over now. It was just cheap and meaningless sex, and it was so exciting to be desired and secretly involved in an illicit affair. I felt young and desirable again, but there was no love, and I never wanted to hurt you. But I don't know how I could not see it. I didn't even realize how distant I was from you and the children, and I'm ashamed to admit that right now. I wake up and see myself as some other person from a horror movie or nightmare, and I hate myself for it because I love you, the children, and our life together. Oh my goodness, Jack, I beg you. Please come home so that I can put things in order. I need to make us a family again, Linda. There is no us, we're done. You can't say you love me after you cheated on me and caused me pain and emotional damage. You have shown that you have no respect for me, no care for anyone but yourself, and because of your lies and deceit, I will never be able to trust you again. Everything we had before is now tainted and suspicious. Have you been cheating on me with him for the last few years or 4 months? How many other men have you had? Do I need to have my children's DNA tested? Don't bother answering because I won't believe a word you say. Of course, I need to get tested for STIs. You and I have nothing left. You hurt me like no other, and I could never imagine that the person I loved and bet my life on would throw me away like a piece of trash. Please don't say that, Jack. I'll do anything. I'll go to a psychologist. You can have sex with other women. Please don't leave me. I lived with a feeling of guilt. I tried to stop, but I always came back to you. It was just a pointless fling. Oh God, please forgive me. I'm so sorry for everything that happened. Save your breath, Linda. I don't trust a single thing you say, and at this point I just don't care about you or your lies. Now pay close attention to what I have to tell. What is going to happen now? On Monday, the bank will issue you divorce papers. God, no, Jack. I beg you, please do not dissolve our marriage. Listen to me. Linda, the wife of your boss, has already received copies of the video and images of your dirty affair when you cheated on me with him in our bedroom. As a result, there is a good probability that you and his John Monroe will be stuck with each other when his wife and I both leave your cheating asses. It would be helpful if you could reassure me that you did not commit this act. He has a wife and 2 children. Why are you going to destroy them? You and his John Monroe ruined everything. Your cheap affair ruined not only my life, your life, and the lives of our children, but also the lives of his wife and children. You can be proud of yourself. You had a hand in the death of 8 people. Fortunately for you, you are such a selfish person that you probably don't care. Wow, Linda, you just don't understand. John Monroe and you are the ones who are destroying their family. Sobs exploded. I heard it over the phone. But I'm not done yet. Your boss will be sued civilly for alienation of affection, although we'll have to find out which hospital he's in. Apparently he was out of luck, wrong place, wrong time. I heard from a friend that Monroe was mugged in an airport parking lot and ended up in the hospital with a crushed testicle and an injured knee. So it's hard to say when he'll be fit enough to have sex with anyone again. Stop what you're doing, Jack. Stop being so cruel. I don't care about him, I just want you. Please don't treat us in such a horrible manner. Listen, Linda. Again, we're not here. It's hard to say whether you and your boss will still have your jobs by the end of next week, because I also sent these photos to the president and board members of the U.S. Bank of Commerce along with the alienation of affection and sexual harassment lawsuit. If they want to negotiate, I will try to keep you on the job, but I will require them to fire him for cause. No, Jack, I'm sorry, but do you truly despise me to that extent? Linda, you yourself showed your hatred for me with your betrayal, lies, and disrespect. You took the love I cherished for you and tore it from my soul. I'm just trying to regain some self-respect before our lives go in different directions. At this point, Linda was crying so hard and making cries of disbelief and denial that I was not sure that she would be able to listen to me any longer. I held back my anger and felt pain and remorse for what I was putting her through because I knew I still loved her even though I hated her. It was a very disturbing mixture of emotions that tore at my soul, but overall I was determined to take revenge and mortally wound her for what she had done to me. Linda, we're almost finished. Try to focus on the next few points. I took the $125,000 we had in savings and used $225,000 to pay for Krista's next 2 years of college. I will help her in the future, but for now this is all I can afford. I'm leaving the house to you. I signed the contract in your name, and the capital will be about $100,000 if you sell it now. I am not going to sell our house, Jack, and I want you to stop this insanity and come back to me so that we can recover. Please, for the sake of our 23 years of love and happiness together, before I experience a mental breakdown. I paid little attention to this remark and continued. Linda, if you sign the divorce, you will keep the house and everything in it. I will keep the $100,000 that is left over from our savings, and we will call it a day. If you do not agree to the divorce or begin fighting it, I will take possession of the house and everything in it. I don't care. I won't be there to argue. Do what you want. I don't care. We're almost done, Linda. There are a few more things I need to tell you. If you look around, you'll notice that I've moved out. I took what I wanted, and all that's left is yours. I took some photos and left the wedding photo albums with you. Save them, burn them. I don't care. I left my wedding ring on the dresser. You can melt it or flush it down the toilet as happened with our marriage. Krista is coming to pick up all of her belongings. She has no intention of ever living there again. She will also like to come by when you are away, so you should not be surprised if you find her room empty. Ryan is coming to pick up some of my fishing and hunting gear that he needs. He will come when you are not there, so you should not be alarmed if you notice that someone has been in the house with you. He does not want to see you. The last thing you should know is that I also sent pictures of you cheating on me to your parents, and all of our contacts in both of our email databases, so you might want to work on that. What story will you tell them all? I'll be damned if I'm going to be the bad guy in this bad marriage. The tumultuous call reached a crescendo with Linda's cries and screams echoing in my ears. I feared for her safety, for the emotional toll this confrontation was taking. It had to end, for both our sakes, Linda. There's one more thing. Linda, I continued, my voice heavy with resignation. I resigned from my job last week, and I'm embarking on a journey to a new state, into the unknown. I hope to find someone in the future who values the promises we make, someone who respects me as an equal, someone I can trust and love once again. I also hope that you, in your own way, find what you've been missing. I made it clear that she shouldn't seek me out. Any needs she had could be addressed through Ryan or my attorney. We were severing the ties that had bound us, relinquishing each other from our lives. Linda's desperate scream pierced through the phone. Jack, no, please, Jack, please forgive me. The weight of my actions bore down on me, and I succumbed to an overwhelming bout of tears and pain. I realized that I had gone too far with my vengeance, and forgiving myself would be a long and arduous journey. Forgiving her seemed even more distant. I knew that the road ahead would be painful as I sought healing and prepared for a life without bitterness. I clung to the memory of that morning atop the mountain, reminding myself that moments of beauty and magic still awaited me. I needed to remain open to them and continue moving towards a new beginning. As a note to those who may be listening, I implored them to subscribe to our channel, where they could find guidance to ensure their relationships remained faithful and perhaps avoid the turmoil that had consumed my own. In the aftermath of that tumultuous phone call, life took on unexpected turns and revelations. The wounds I carried began to mend, slowly but surely. The anger and pain that once consumed me gradually yielded to acceptance, and eventually forgiveness became the beacon guiding my way. I came to understand that harboring grudges and seeking revenge only prolongs our own suffering, and I was determined to break free from that vicious cycle. Time proved to be my greatest ally, offering the gift of clarity and perspective. Forgiveness, I realized, wasn't about condoning the hurtful actions of others, but rather a powerful act of self-liberation. It meant releasing myself from the heavy shackles of anger and resentment, allowing my heart to heal and my spirit to flourish. I also came to a profound realization that revenge is a hollow pursuit, one that often leaves us feeling emptier than before. It's a fleeting triumph that ultimately robs us of our own humanity as we descend to the level of those we sought to punish. True strength, I discovered, lies in the courage to move forward, to release the grip of the past, and to channel our energy into creating a brighter tomorrow. Above all, I learned the paramount importance of communication in relationships. Had we engaged in open and honest dialogue, we might have spared ourselves the agony we endured. The secrecy and deception we indulged in proved to be corrosive, eating away at the trust and love we once shared. It underscored the fact that genuine connections thrive on transparency and vulnerability. My journey became a profound transformation, a path of self-discovery and growth. It taught me that even the most painful life challenges can serve as catalysts for personal evolution. Emerging from the darkness, I carried with me newfound wisdom and a deep appreciation for the moments of beauty and wonder that still graced my life. As I embarked on my journey into the uncharted territory of the unknown, I bore these lessons as my compass. I was determined to forge a future filled with love, trust, and the unshakable belief that even after the darkest storms, there is always a path leading to a brighter and more hopeful tomorrow.